Hello, Western Civ 104. Here we are, moving along into the next section. And now we're going from Greece and Hellenism into Rome. And so it's a really good transition. It's very clear and concise, and wow, right? I mean, it really puts so much of our of Western political life and intellectual life into perspective from a historical point of view at this point. Ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt and ancient Israel, it's a little bit more vague to start off with, and you look at Phoenician scripts and all of that to bring it all together. But you start talking about Greece and Rome, and you really see the fact that we're a democratic republic. And again, all the language, the terms we use for fields, even such as history, is a Greek word meaning to investigate, inquire of. I think that you're going to just continue to enjoy what you're learning, and I'm really happy. This class, I mean, when I see the work that's coming in, it's like you guys understand what I'm looking for. And yeah, I'm very happy about it. I'll be really brief. I'll just say this. That trip to the Philippines was really eye-opening. And I'm going to just briefly share just a few things, because I think it'll really put it into perspective. You know, I live here in Thailand right now, and this would be considered, as the popular term is still used, although some people debate if they want to use the term third world. And we're really talking about economics. I'm under a monarchy right now that's actually really being ruled by the military, and there's a sort of a democratic crisis here right now, which is too long to go into. I don't feel at all like I'm unsafe. It's just, for Thai people, this is a frustrating time. And I'm not sure like what people really think is going to happen. I might have mentioned this before. The one thing that I've learned here about Thailand is that it's not only is it not legal to have a big group of people to protest, but people as a general rule don't just openly talk politics or their feelings or a lot of those things just, on the street. Maybe you have some beers with some friends now, we're going to start opening up, right? That's different in America. So it's like me as a person who's just barely studying the language and so forth. I really don't know what's going on here, like how people really feel and think. That's what I want to say. You go to the Philippines, and it's a very controversial time. If you all think that Donald Trump is a controversial character in America, I mean, when I say controversial, it's like so many people aren't even friends with one side or the other now. He's very polarizing. That's what it is. So whether you're a pro-Trump or you're anti, you're not getting along so well right now, right? Very polarizing. Duterte in the Philippines, I think he's killed over 7,000 people over the drug war. And when I was there, people are saying that he's killing like 70 a day, 30 to 70 a day. Even police officers, if they're caught selling drugs, because of this drug crisis. It's a little intense, to say the least. And I went to meet my daughter's family, and Pastor Lee, my daughter's second cousin, my ex-wife's first cousin, he's the chaplain for the police department there, and he kind of sees himself as this activist, community activist, that if the police do Christianity right, they won't be corrupt, right? And he actually feels sympathetic towards what Duterte is doing, because he feels the country's so out of control, even though he's uncomfortable, these are his words, to all this killing. But then I had a taxi driver, I didn't even really say anything much, and he just exploded that Duterte is the spawn of Satan, and he's a mass murderer, and he's the real gangster, he's just consolidating his own power. And I thought, wow, America's not the only place where the whole nation doesn't see things eye to eye, doesn't look at things from the same perspective, but also under this kind of extra crisis. And You know, it's a huge city. Manila just sprawls. I mean, this was the largest city that I've ever been in myself, and I don't think bigger is better. I have to say that I was a little bit overwhelmed with some parts, and some parts were clearly pretty sketch. You don't want to get lost. In fact, my friend that I met up with there, he actually went into the wrong neighborhood while jogging, and people were kind of like following him, and he saw some guy on a motorbike that was making a delivery, and he's like, how much can I pay you for? And the guy's like, you shouldn't be here. He's like, yeah. So he paid him like 200 pesos, which isn't that much to get out of there. And then, you know, you just see the infrastructure problem. You know, I went to a police department up in the north, and it was the worst restroom I ever saw in my life. I mean, there's no repairs. The light didn't work. And this is for the police, by the way. This is not the prisoner toilet. And I was just shocked. And you look at the conditions of the whole building, and you know, then you realize, like, why are so many police are involved in the drug trade out there? I heard that sometimes they even have to pay for their own gas, and they get taxed very heavily. But the government is so corrupt. And you know, I went up to the north. There's no running water. I went to the municipality building, and there was the sink was a disaster. It's like there's no TLC going on by elites here. Very, very eye-opening, you know. So I saw a lot of loving and beautiful things, but I was also aware of what it looks like when there's really bad governance. And there's also a whole colonial legacy. You know, the Spanish, talk about Western civilization, I would argue that the Spanish left a pretty awful legacy on the Philippines, and I'm not impressed with the legacy. But the beautiful churches, I have no issues with Spanish people per se, or even you know, against people being Catholic, but what happened there, and there was Islam was there first, and so there's still this tension. And when I was there, a church got blown up, and there's massive government neglect of the South where the Muslims are, and so there's this tension. I just said, wow, what a world we live in, you know. And by the way, you know, you go to toilets, you have to wipe with your hand if you're gonna do the thing, and there's 2 buckets there. Plumbing. Here in Thailand, there's a spray, you know, in most places, and if you go to a nicer one, there's toilet paper as well. There's things you take for granted here, you know, in the Western world. And the way development has happened in the world has been very uneven, very unbalanced. And so it's something that really struck me, that in a way that it didn't even strike me here in Thailand, because Thailand it's up a few, it's not in that crisis level as I saw in the Philippines, and there's a lot to work on here. And then I thought about, you know, the United States, where an unelected official diverted clean water and gave poison water, you know, in Flint, Michigan, you know, poisoned the whole water supply. I guess the idea would be to save money, and that person hasn't faced any jail time as well. I mean, where are we at in America? Are we really? What direction are we going in? So it's making me think about stuff like that. So I don't know. I just hope that all of you get a chance to do some travel as well, and you will look and see, and you'll see where the United States is really doing so much better than many other places, and you'll also see where we're going into those directions, like I said, that we shouldn't be going in. And there's some things we're just doing wrong all along, in my opinion. And it feels good to be able to kind of see those things. And I am just appreciating life, appreciating my own country, my own people, appreciating the world. And just, you know, again, I hope that as you study history here and reflect upon what you're learning, it'll help you to really see yourself as a part of the human species on this planet. And you know, kind of think more critically about the direction that it's all going in. So that's just my little Mr. Pollock thoughts of the day on whatever. And I hope you all are enjoying yourselves, and we'll be in touch. Hit me up if you have any questions.